January 1st. That's when thousands of women's careers end. Not because they did anything wrong, but because for the first time, they have to show their real faces.
Looks like the filters are starting to get banned, apparently. And of course, modern women are not going to be happy about this one. We've got a video for you here today from Glow Up Girl. Let's get into it.
Today, we're uncovering why AI beauty filters are being banned. So be sure to like and subscribe, because we're going deep. Beauty mode doesn't just smooth your skin. It rebuilds your entire face, according to an algorithm's definition of beauty. Turn on the filter, and you become someone else entirely. Your eyes reshape, your nose pinches smaller, your skin becomes porcelain. Reality bends.
It is insane how many modern women use a combination of filters and makeup to completely alter their face, but then they turn around and they say that they want an authentic and, a man who has integrity and stuff like this. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Turn it off? Well, that's the problem. 99.8% of female streamers use beauty filters. Not just most, almost all. These women built entire careers on faces that don't exist. Thousands of followers, donations from devoted fans, all for someone who was never real. We've spent years watching faces that don't actually exist, and we've been conditioned to think they're beautiful.
If a man wants to be a streamer, let's be real, okay? He is going to have to work a lot harder than a woman in most cases. He will probably have to be talented at some game or something like that, or quick-witted or very, very funny. But all a woman needs to do is show some skin and turn on a few filters, and the next thing you know, she's making money hand over fist.
But when you learn what it's doing to your brain, things get dark. There's a psychological concept called cultivation theory. Long-term exposure to media content shapes what you believe is real. When you see filtered faces every single day, thousands of them, your brain starts accepting them as normal. Real faces start to look wrong. Research shows that comparing yourself to idealized images online is directly linked to body dissatisfaction and eating disorders.
To be fair, this is nothing new. Social media has been warping women's brains for years now. It's come to the point where they believe if a man isn't 6'2" and absolutely jacked, then the man isn't normal. They honestly think that's the norm for men, and everyone else is just a freak of nature. It's gotten pretty ridiculous.
But there's a twist. You're not competing with other women anymore. You're competing with AI, with algorithms that generate one perfect face and paste it onto everyone. Then there's self-objectification. When you spend hours monitoring your appearance, treating your face like a product to be upgraded and perfected, studies show it leads to anxiety and depression. You stop being a person, you become a project. Reality has gotten so distorted that a new medical term has been coined: Snapchat dysmorphia.
That is not surprising in the slightest. How many videos have we seen of modern women altering their bodies with cosmetic surgery, Botox, BBLs, and so on? I mean, literally too many to count. It makes them look incredibly unnatural, but they legitimately think that they're beautiful and that men, asked them to do it or something.
Women are now seeking plastic surgery to look like their filtered selves. They don't even want to look like models. They want to look like the algorithm's version of them. These filters didn't just change how we look online. They've changed what our brains believe we should look like in reality. So why is China banning them? The official reason is to improve content quality and crack down on misleading visuals. But dig further, and deeper reasons emerge. This isn't just about vanity, it's about fraud. Chinese netizens started calling it out directly. Streamers making money through excessive beautification are basically committing fraud.
We've been seeing a massive rise in this all over the world. It's pretty much catfishing devolved into something that's way more corrupted and disturbing, but it's pretty much unavoidable at this point. This kind of stuff was bound to happen once AI became mainstream.
But the damage goes far beyond individual deception. It's social poison. One Chinese commentator explained it this way: men no longer watch TV. They don't look at their own wives. They just scroll on their phones to look at pretty girls who look like fairies. But those fairies aren't real. Do you think this is beneficial to relationships? To lowering divorce rates? He called it spiritual poisonous grain, not inferior to opium.
It works both ways. Modern women have been using social media as an excuse to dump boyfriends, divorce husbands, and to hate men for years now. You can't blame one party while trying to just ignore the other.
Women using filters started believing their own illusions. They'd look at their filtered face and think, I'm a 9 out of 10. I deserve a wealthy, tall, handsome man. Their standards skyrocketed, but walk down the street, you wouldn't see a single woman who looked like her online persona. Beauty mode made them lose themselves. China isn't banning beauty filters because they're vain. They're banning them because they've become a form of mass psychological manipulation. Here's what the Chinese government isn't saying out loud. Across the developed world, something catastrophic is happening. Birth rates are collapsing, marriage rates are plummeting, young people aren't dating.
The sad part is that the decline in dating and marriage and birth rates and all of that is fairly well known at this point, and it's either being downplayed or straight up celebrated. There are childless women out there who say that a society that depends on men deserves to crumble. It's actually rather terrifying.
They're not having relationships. They're not forming families. The United States, most of Europe, China, Japan, South Korea, the pattern is everywhere. And nobody can pinpoint exactly why. Except, what if social media is part of it? Think about it. Men scroll through thousands of digitally perfect women every day. Women no real person could ever compete with. So why would they pursue real relationships? Why settle for reality when the fantasy is always one swipe away?
It's unfair to be blaming men for this when modern women were convinced that 95% of the world's male population were effectively subhuman. Even if men wanted to date, a lot of them can't because modern women despise the vast majority of men out there anyway.
One Chinese man described meeting a woman from a dating app. After seeing her real face, he deleted the app entirely. How many millions of potential relationships died exactly like that? How many marriages never happened because someone couldn't live up to their filtered profile? Meanwhile, the divorce rate climbs. Both men and women scroll through endless fantasy, convinced they're settling for less, convinced their reality isn't good enough. Filters might be destroying our ability to form real human connections, to see real people as attractive, and to accept reality as good enough.
Even before AI filters, modern women figured out dozens of different ways to catfish dudes. The filters just make it easier, but if there's any good news to be had, it's how many guys are actually ditching the apps because they really are that useless for most men.
China's birth rate is in freefall. Their economy depends on population growth, so this isn't just about beauty anymore. This might be about survival. When the ban was announced, the panic was immediate. 90% of streamers will all lose their jobs, one broadcaster predicted. If those female streamers turn off that beauty filter, they really cannot be looked at. It will scare the viewers so much they'll doubt life, she said. These women built everything on a digital mask. Their entire persona, their income, and their identity.
The disturbing part is how accurate that statement sounds. We live in a world where people want to avoid reality in all forms because a reminder of how the real world works is enough to terrify people into wanting to hide from their problems.
So what happens when that mask is ripped off? Viewers will stop donating. The men who've spent thousands supporting their favorite streamers will feel betrayed. Careers will collapse overnight. Some women fought back defensively. I paid thousands for this phone. I'll use beauty mode if I want. What does it have to do with you? Others insisted, even with beauty mode, you need good bone structure. If you're ugly, even level 10 beauty mode can't save you. But underneath the anger was fear.
AI was an absolute game changer. We are seeing the dismantling of the streaming community, the spicy content industry, and eventually influencers as well. All of this quote-unquote easy money that modern women were getting is pretty much going to be snatched away from them, and they will have nothing to show for it.
Because they know the truth. They built their careers on deception, and now they're being forced to show their real faces. And that doesn't get the same view count. So, could America be next? Well, it's already starting here. TikTok announced they're banning certain beauty filters for users under 18. Filters like bold glamour that dramatically reshape facial features, gone for minors. And in Europe, they're investing nearly 2 billion euros into safety initiatives, whatever that means.
All of that sounds like a massive waste of money and time when you think about it. Just because you spend billions on safety initiatives and trying to ban minors from using filters, people will always find a workaround to keep using them. It won't even slow them down.
Mental health experts are calling this a necessary step. If teenagers stop using filters now, they might gradually normalize a more authentic online presence. China bans it, TikTok restricts it for minors, Instagram and Snapchat are watching closely. The domino effect has begun. But here's where it gets complicated. On one hand, there's a strong case for bans. We're protecting young girls from impossible beauty standards. We're ending mass deception. We're forcing people to be authentic, sincere, and real.
It almost sounds like the damage has already been done. When you take a look at how all of this has warped minds, altered reality, and changed attitudes, it will take a miracle to get perception back to the way it was before the internet. I actually don't think it's really that possible.
But on the other hand, Isn't it your face, your choice? Film and television use makeup, color grading, and effects. Why are filters different? Some women genuinely feel empowered and confident using them. Who gets to decide what's too much? And government censorship is an extremely slippery slope. Give an inch and they'll take a mile. Before you know it, you won't be able to log in online without 3 layers of biometric identification.
There is no practical solution to this mess, and that's kind of just the sad truth. You can't make them completely illegal, and people will just figure out another way to deceive others anyway. It's been that way since the dawn of civilization. The only difference was how frighteningly efficient the filters are.
And here's the uncomfortable middle ground. What if the problem isn't the filter? What if the problem is that we created a world where women felt they needed to hide their real faces to be valued? A ban might not ever fix that. An entire industry has been built on women who don't exist in reality. Billions of dollars, millions of hours, all spent on faces that were never real. Now the Chinese government is forcing them to face reality, and people are calling it oppressive. But ask yourself this. If someone built their entire career on catfishing millions of people, would you defend that? Because that's what this is. Mass catfishing. At scale. For profit.
There's no real way to defend it. A massive amount of damage has been done to the world's population thanks not only to AI, but also social medias, as well as the rampant virtue signaling we've all been subjected to for the last few decades. All we can do now is strap in because it just seems like the ride is going to get bumpier. But anyway, guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Click this video that's up on the screen now if you want to see more. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.